So we are outside on this cold and windy day to winterize the camper. It's inevitable. If you live in a northern state, you're gonna have to winterize so that your lines don't freeze, your batteries don't break. There's a lot of things to consider when you winterize, but it's actually not that complicated. So we're gonna walk you through the steps, show you how we do it. So the first thing I do is find your hot water tank. You want to empty all the water out of the hot water tank itself. So be careful, make sure you've had this off for a while and let the water cool, or else you're gonna have scalding hot water coming out of this. You want to release the pressure with the pressure valve. So on our particular model, we would be removing the anode rod to drain the tank. And what we're gonna do now is use this nice little wand and rinse out the inside of the water heater. A lot of sediment gets left in the bottom of that, so you want to clean it out. I like to do it in the fall when I'm done, and then I'll do it again in the spring when I'm getting it ready to use. All right, so we take our wand, you simply turn it on. So what you want to do is you move the anode rod, once this is completely drained out, of course. And then you insert your tube, turn it on, just start rotating it around. You'll see how much starts coming out of there. So if you have this stuff coming out of your hot water heater, don't panic. It is normal, but you do want to clean it out. It's probably not going to get everything out of there, but it's better to clean out what you can than to never do this at all. The next step is something that's not required, but I like to do, and that's blow air through the lines to get all the water cleared out before I actually use the antifreeze. And to do that, you can pick up one of these parts, just a couple bucks. You get them in any hardware store. You can order it from Amazon, of course. But this will plug into your city water inlet, and then you hook up a compressor to it and you just blow air through. Now what you want to do is preferably use a compressor that you can set the PSI limit. You don't want to burst those lines by having too much in there, but you simply turn it on and then turn on your faucets and the air will blow through the lines. Some people I've heard this is all they do, is they blow the water out of the lines and then they're done. But being this far north, if it freezes, I really recommend that you still use the actual RV antifreeze that you can put through the lines, just to be safe. If you're in the southern states, you might only get one slight freeze. Just blowing the air through the lines might be enough. Up here, don't take any chances. Use the antifreeze. This should blow the water out of the lines. And just let that run until it's clear. Of course, go to every sink and do hot and cold. And of course, if you have an outside kitchen, don't forget this sink. A beautiful assistant on the compressor. All right, now that we're done with the compressor, it's time for the fun part, RV antifreeze. don't have to use anything too special unless you are in ultra cold climates like you're up in Alaska. You might want to use the -100, but this stuff, it's just $2.50 roughly. I get it at Walmart, believe it or not, and it's rated to -50. It's not going to completely not freeze. Sometimes it will gel up a little bit, but it won't freeze solid to the point of where your lines burst. So good stuff. I have 4 gallons. I did this with only 2 gallons last year, but I figure better safe than sorry. Any excess, we can always just dump it down the black and gray tanks. Next part, we go inside. You want to find your access panel to the hot water tank because you want to shut off the flow of water into the hot water heater. The reason you do that is so that you don't fill that thing with 6 gallons of antifreeze. Seems like kind of a waste to me. So as long as you've got it drained and all the lines are empty, you can just bypass it and nothing in there is going to freeze. So you'll be safe. So what you want to do is find where your hot water tank is located, and there's usually an access panel so you can get to it. All models are different, so you are going to have to find yours. Ours is right there next to the sink. So what we need to do is remove that panel to get in there. Alright, so with the panel removed, you can see your hot water tank, your water pump's right over there. So this is easy enough. We have nozzle here and one down at the bottom. So instead of the water flowing in the cold into the tank and then out the hot, we have simply turned these, which bypasses it, and the water will just go through this extra hose and right back around through, shutting off all water flow to the water heater that's coming from the water pump. Next is to access the water pump so that we can pump antifreeze through the system. And apparently I need a vacuum under here. And there's the water pump. So next step is to attach that cord to the inflow of your water pump. So the water pump will actually suck the antifreeze directly out of the gallon jugs into your RV's water system. So here's our hose. That's where we attach it. And then the other end of the hose simply goes in your gallon. Now, of course, it goes without saying, make sure your water pump is off before you disconnect this. So we attach this hose to the water pump. Now, instead of your in from the fresh water, your in is now this clear tube right here that we're going to put in the antifreeze. And don't forget the toilet. Side kitchen. And of course, the outside shower. Probably the most forgotten part of winterizing. And then when you're done, take your hose off. So that's it for the water aspect of it. So you've got about $20 worth of tools. $10 worth of antifreeze. So for $30, you just winterized your camper, and now you have nothing to worry about on the water side of things. There are still a couple more things I want to show you. A simple one, these plastic pieces, most trailers will come with this if you have an RV fridge. This is there for a reason. If you put them on, and if you see these, just look like a plastic piece, it slides through and props your fridge open. What that'll do is allow airflow in there, because if you have these clicked shut for the winter, you're going to be surprised with some lovely smells and you're going to have some extra cleaning to do. If you have an outside kitchen, make sure that you prop that fridge open as well, just to have airflow circulating through there in the winter months. A couple other things to consider. If you keep anything in your storage bins, make sure nothing contains water or any kind of liquid that could expand and get ruined. Good example of that is an RV water filter. If you're not able to cover the entire trailer, at least cover up your tires. These do not cost very much, but they're very effective. So this style has a nice elastic band in the back that keeps these snug so they won't get blown off from the wind. And that's it. Preserve your tires, and don't forget in the spring when you take them off, inspect those tires too. One final time, bringing the slide in. I'll show you why in a second. The batteries. I take these inside and hook them up to a trickle charger over the winter. If you don't have that capability, some people will leave them plugged in throughout the winter to keep that charge up. You don't want to let them drain, because then they will be more likely to freeze. If you keep it plugged in, just make sure you have a good converter that's not going to overcharge the batteries either. So if you can, take them off, take them inside, keep them warm, and don't forget to check the fluid levels and only use distilled water. So anytime you're dealing with your batteries, of course I have two 6-volt batteries, but it doesn't matter if it's 6 or 12, get some gloves, some eyewear, and if you're filling it, only use distilled water. So what we'll do is we'll take off the top, see how it looks. Still doing pretty good. Can't see on the camera, but it's still covering the actual battery cells. Still gonna add a little bit. Of course, the funnel is recommended. Now, you never want to lift the battery using this. Here's the method I recommend. Easy. And in case you're wondering about the timing of the video, we thought we would release this now when it's more relevant to everybody who's winterizing in the fall and the upcoming winter months. But we do still have lots more content to release to get to you to show what we did this summer. So a lot of stuff upcoming, so be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when we upload, since we don't really have a regular upload schedule. And if this video is helpful to you, give it a thumbs up, like it, subscribe. We will see you next time.